Beyond the battles and heroic deeds, the legend of King Arthur is a vast tapestry woven with symbols. Each object, each character, and each place conceals a deeper meaning. They are not merely pieces of a story but representations of universal ideals, internal struggles, and the eternal search for the divine. In this first chapter of our analysis, we will delve into the heart of two of the most powerful and intertwined symbols of the legend, the enigmatic Lady of the Lake and the unmistakable sword Excalibur. The Lady of the Lake is one of the most enigmatic figures in the Arthurian myth. She is no simple fairy, she is the archetype of nature's feminine power and the vast, unexplored subconscious. She lives in the heart of a lake, a place that symbolizes not only the mysteries of life and death but also the hidden depths of the human mind. She is the guardian of ancient knowledge, the magic that existed before men wrote it down. When she gives Arthur the sword Excalibur, the lady doesn't just give him a weapon, she grants him the divine authority of the earth itself. Her figure appears in various ways, sometimes as a benevolent sorceress, other times as an unpredictable force hiding secrets. Her relationship with Merlin is crucial. She is the one who imprisons him not out of malice, but because he has revealed her deepest secrets. This act symbolizes the idea that the magic of nature cannot be controlled by human intellect. It must remain hidden, waiting for the right moment to emerge. The Lady of the Lake is a reminder that true power lies in harmony with the natural world, not in its conquest. Few objects in history are as iconic as Excalibur. But to understand its true meaning, we must distinguish it from its counterpart, the sword in the stone. While the latter represented the right to rule by lineage and merit, a symbol of granted authority, Excalibur is a symbol of legitimate authority, of sovereignty that is earned and maintained through virtue. By receiving it from the Lady of the Lake, Arthur not only obtains a weapon but accepts a sacred contract. The sword is not a simple instrument of war, it is the symbol of justice, honor, and the moral code that must guide a king. Its scabbard, which has the power to heal and protect its wielder, symbolizes that the power of the law should not only punish but also protect and restore. Excalibur is the soul of the kingdom, a brilliant reflection of the ideal of Camelot. When Arthur wields it, he is not fighting for his own power, but for the peace and justice of his people. Its blinding brilliance not only intimidates enemies but also symbolizes the light of truth that should guide a king. The fact that the sword in the stone breaks and is replaced by Excalibur is a crucial lesson. Inherited power is fragile, but power gained through the wisdom of the earth is unbreakable. The loss of the scabbard, and later the sword itself, marks the beginning of the kingdom's end. In throwing it back into the lake, Arthur returns authority to its source, demonstrating that his reign was a blessing of the land, not a personal conquest. If the Lady of the Lake and Excalibur speak to us of earthly power and political authority, the Holy Grail elevates us to a completely different dimension, that of spiritual illumination. The quest for the Grail is the moral and philosophical pinnacle of the Arthurian myth, a journey that transforms the knights from warriors into seekers of truth. It is not a simple adventure but a test of character and faith that reveals the true nature of each Knight of the Round Table. The quest for the Grail symbolizes humanity's aspiration to the sacred, a search that is not about conquering a kingdom or winning a battle, but about conquering the spirit. Unlike other missions which required strength and courage, the quest for the Grail demanded purity of heart. The Grail is not an object that can be forced or taken. It is a reward for those who have left worldly ambitions behind and found true virtue within themselves. This is why many of the most famous knights, like Lancelot, fail in their attempt. Their hearts are stained by sin, betrayal, and human passions. Only a few manage to see the Grail, with Sir Galahad at the head, a knight described as the epitome of purity. The Grail appears as a light, a vision, rather than a tangible object. This final act underscores that illumination is not for everyone. It is for those who are ready to leave behind worldly ambitions and embrace virtue. The Grail symbolizes humanity's aspiration to the sacred, an echo of the eternal search for happiness, meaning, and a connection with the divine. The quest for the Grail marks the beginning of the end of Camelot. Once the knights have seen spiritual glory, life at court and worldly battles no longer hold the same meaning. The Round Table fractures, not because of an external enemy, but because of an existential crisis. The lesson endures. True victory is not in conquering a kingdom but in conquering the spirit. The symbols of the Arthurian myth endure because they transcend time and culture. The Lady of the Lake reminds us that true power lies in harmony with nature, that legitimate authority is based on justice, and that true victory is a spiritual quest. These are the echoes of Avalon, a whisper from the past that guides us to the future. While the Arthurian legend is rich with magic and mystery, two of its most iconic symbols are deeply rooted in the political and social ideals of a new era. The sword in the stone and the round table are not just props in a story, they are the very foundation of King Arthur's legacy, representing his ascent to power and the noble society he sought to build. They are the physical manifestations of a world that prioritizes merit, equality, and unity. The sword in the stone is a symbol of destiny and legitimacy. It's a magical test that transcends lineage and status, declaring that true kingship is not a matter of inheritance but of inherent worthiness. By creating this test, Merlin shatters the old world's feudal system and its reliance on brute force. The sword represents a new social contract. The right to rule must be earned through a sign of divine favor and moral purity. When Arthur, a simple squire, pulls the sword, it's a powerful message that a new age is dawning, an age where merit, not birthright, will determine a person's fate. It is the birth of the ideal king, a figure chosen by fate and not by man. The Round Table is the second half of this political equation. Once Arthur's authority is established, he must create a new form of governance that reflects his ideals. The table's circular shape symbolizes the equality of all its members. It has no head and no foot, meaning no one knight is superior to another, not even the king himself. The Round Table is a physical manifestation of a code of chivalry and justice, where the most powerful men in the kingdom sit as equals, bound by an oath to protect the innocent, uphold justice, and serve their king and their people. It's a utopian vision of a society where might is used for right, and where the rule of law replaces the chaos of brute force. The table is a testament to Arthur's leadership, a symbol of a dream of unity and honor that would forever define his reign. Together, the sword in the stone and the Round Table tell a complete story of a kingdom built on a dream. One is the symbol of a divinely ordained legitimacy, and the other is the symbol of a just and egalitarian society. They are a powerful reminder that the greatest legacies are built not with force, but with the strength of ideals and the courage of conviction. At the heart of the Arthurian myth, the knight is more than a soldier. He is the embodiment of an ideal. He is the defender of the innocent, the upholder of justice, and the living symbol of a moral code. But this ideal is only fully realized when it faces its greatest challenge. The knight is defined by the dragon, a powerful and ancient symbol that represents chaos, evil, and the untamed forces of nature. Their conflict is not just a physical battle. It is an allegorical struggle between order and chaos, good and evil, and the human spirit against its own inner demons. The knight represents the highest aspirations of humanity. Clad in shining armor, he is a beacon of hope in a dark and chaotic world. He is a master of both the sword and the heart, trained not only in combat but also in honor, loyalty, and courtesy. The Round Table's chivalric code is designed to channel the immense power of these men for the greater good, to transform them from simple warriors into noble protectors. The knight's journey from a squire to a legendary hero is a timeless tale of self-improvement and moral growth. He is the protector of the weak and the champion of the oppressed, a living example of how power can be used for good. The dragon, on the other hand, is the ultimate force of chaos. It is the primordial fear of the unknown, the untamed beast that threatens to consume the civilized world. In some legends, the dragon is a physical monster, a terrifying beast that must be slain. But in the grand tapestry of the myth, it represents something far more profound. The dragon symbolizes greed, envy, and the destructive forces that lie within every human heart. The knight's battle with the dragon is the ultimate test of his character, a struggle to overcome not just an external foe, but the darkness within himself. The slaying of the dragon is the ultimate triumph of the human spirit, a symbolic act that proves that good can overcome evil, and that order can be restored from chaos. The knight and the dragon are two sides of the same coin. The knight's courage is only meaningful because of the dragon's terror. His virtue is only tested by the dragon's wickedness. Their eternal struggle reminds us that our greatest challenges are often the ones that reveal our true character, and that our noblest qualities are forged in the fires of conflict. If the knight and the dragon represent the struggle between good and evil, then Camelot is the ultimate prize, the dream of a perfect society. It is the shining city on a hill, a place of peace, justice, and order. But Camelot is not just a physical place. It is an ideal, a vision of what humanity can achieve when it is guided by a noble purpose. It is the utopia that every knight seeks to protect and that every villain seeks to destroy. The symbol of Camelot is always in a state of flux. It is a place of peace and harmony, but it is also a place that is constantly being tested. This is where the quest comes in. The quest is the driving force of the entire Arthurian myth. It is a journey that is both physical and spiritual, a search for something that is often intangible. Whether it's the search for a lost love, the rescue of a damsel in distress, or the pursuit of a powerful artifact, the quest is the way in which the Knights of the Round Table prove their worth and uphold the ideals of Camelot. The quest is a powerful symbol of the human journey. It is a journey into the unknown, a test of our courage, our resolve, and our moral character. It reminds us that the greatest rewards are often found at the end of a long and difficult journey. The knights' quests are not just for their own glory, they are for the good of the kingdom, a constant effort to keep the light of Camelot shining in a dark world. The quest is what gives Camelot meaning. Without the journey, the destination is just a place. Camelot and the quest are two sides of the same coin. One is the destination, the ideal that every knight strives for, and the other is the journey, the constant struggle to reach that ideal. The legend of King Arthur reminds us that the dream of a perfect world is worth fighting for, and that the greatest legacy is not in building a castle, but in the journey we take to make it real. In the Arthurian legend, the settings are as symbolic as the characters themselves. The forest and the cave are not just places where events happen, they are powerful archetypes of the wild, the unknown, and the deepest parts of the human psyche. They represent the world beyond the walls of Camelot, a place where the rules of civilization no longer apply and a deeper, more ancient magic reigns supreme. The forest is a symbol of the untamed wilderness, the chaotic and primal side of life. It is the place where a knight's training and chivalry are put to the ultimate test. When a knight enters the forest, he leaves the safety of the known world and ventures into a realm of myth and mystery. It is a place of magic but also of great danger, where he can encounter both mystical creatures and his own inner demons. The forest represents the journey into the unknown, a path that a knight must take alone to prove his courage and his spiritual worth. It is in the forest that the line between reality and magic blurs, and where the most profound lessons are learned. While the forest represents the outer journey, the cave symbolizes the inner one. It is a place of profound secrets, a womb where life can be reborn or a tomb where it can be laid to rest. In many legends, the cave is a place of both great power and great danger. It is in a crystal cave that Merlin is often imprisoned, a final act that symbolizes the retreat of ancient magic from the world. But the cave is also a place of spiritual renewal, a sanctuary from the outside world where a knight can find peace and enlightenment. It represents the deepest part of the subconscious, a place where a person can confront their own darkness and emerge stronger and wiser. The forest and the cave are two sides of the same journey. One is a physical journey into the unknown, and the other is a spiritual journey into the self. Together, they form a powerful landscape of symbolism, a testament to the fact that the greatest adventure is not in fighting dragons, but in the journey we take to discover who we truly are. The legend of King Arthur is a story of triumph and glory, but it is also a story of a tragic end. The golden age of Camelot was not destroyed by a great dragon or a powerful enemy, but by the poison of betrayal. The fall of the kingdom, the death of its king, and the loss of the legendary ideals are not just the conclusion of a story, they are a profound and powerful symbol of the inevitable decline of a perfect dream and the painful reality of human nature. The betrayals of Mordred, Lancelot, and Guinevere are the cracks that bring down the foundations of a perfect kingdom. Mordred, the son of Arthur, represents the darkest form of betrayal, the betrayal of blood and trust. He is a symbol of the internal corruption that can destroy even the most noble of ideals. Lancelot and Guinevere's forbidden love is a different kind of betrayal, one that is born not of malice but of passion. It is a reminder that even the strongest oaths can be broken by the complexities of the human heart. These betrayals are the final act of the legend, a tragic conclusion that shows that no kingdom, no matter how perfect, is safe from the darkness that lies within its own people. The fall of Camelot is the waning of an age. It is the end of an era where magic and chivalry ruled the land, and the beginning of a new, darker time. The destruction of the kingdom is a powerful symbol of the inevitable loss of innocence and the triumph of a more cynical and brutal reality. The legend of Arthur reminds us that all great dreams must eventually come to an end, and that even the most perfect of ideals can be destroyed by the very people who were meant to protect them. The final image of the ruined Camelot is a tragic but powerful reminder that the true legacy of a kingdom is not in its longevity, but in the ideals it inspired. In the Arthurian myth, the power of a hero is often balanced by a profound vulnerability. This duality is masterfully expressed through two powerful, interconnected symbols, the magical scabbard of Excalibur and the unhealing wound of the Fisher King. One represents the power of healing and protection, while the other symbolizes the deep, unresolvable pain that lies at the heart of the kingdom. Together, they tell a tragic tale of the fragility of even the most noble of dreams. The scabbard of Excalibur is a powerful symbol of protection and healing. In many versions of the legend, it has the ability to prevent its wielder from bleeding, ensuring that Arthur is invincible in battle. It is a symbol of a king's duty to protect his people, not just with a sword, but with a shield of justice and peace. It is a magical manifestation of the idea that true power is not about harming others, but about preserving life and creating a safe world. The scabbard is the physical representation of the dream of a golden age, a time when a king's virtue could protect his people from all harm. When Arthur loses the scabbard, it is a sign that this dream is beginning to fade, and that the kingdom is no longer under the protection of divine magic. The unhealing wound, on the other hand, is the ultimate symbol of the kingdom's suffering. It is a curse that falls upon the Fisher King, the guardian of the Grail, a wound that will not close and that causes the land itself to wither and die. This wound is a metaphor for the moral decay of the kingdom, a deep-seated corruption that can't be healed by physical means. It represents the collective pain of a world that has lost its connection to the divine, a spiritual sickness that can only be healed by the purity of the Grail. The unhealing wound is a tragic reminder that the fall of a kingdom is not just a political event, it is a spiritual one. The king's suffering is a mirror of the land's, a powerful symbol of the idea that the health of a society is tied to the moral well-being of its leaders. The scabbard and the wound are two sides of the same coin. One represents the fleeting hope of a perfect world, and the other represents the painful reality of a fallen one. Together they tell a story of a kingdom that was given a chance at a perfect life, only to have it taken away by its own failures. They are the echoes of a tragedy, a whisper that reminds us that even the most beautiful of dreams can be shattered by a single, unhealing wound. In the myth of King Arthur, the tools of a knight are not merely for combat, they are symbols of his purpose, his faith, and his ultimate destiny. The shining armor of a knight and the sacred holy spear are two such symbols. One represents the outward manifestation of his chivalric code, while the other is a powerful link to the divine and the ultimate test of his faith. The knight's armor is more than just a suit of steel, it is a symbol of his purity and his moral resolve. It is a shining armor that reflects the light of God and the ideals of Camelot. When a knight wears his armor, he is not just protecting himself, he is embodying the chivalric code, a moral shield that protects him from the temptations of greed and corruption. The armor is a physical manifestation of a spiritual state, a reminder that a knight's greatest defense is his own virtue. It is a sign of his dedication to his king and his people, and a promise to use his strength only for good. The armor is the ultimate symbol of the chivalric ideal, a constant reminder of the high standards to which a knight is held. The holy spear, on the other hand, is a powerful symbol of the divine. It is said to be the spear that pierced the side of Jesus Christ on the cross, and in the Grail legends, it is one of the hallowed artifacts that the knights seek. The spear represents the ultimate sacrifice, the suffering of a god for the salvation of humanity. For the knights, the search for the spear is a spiritual quest, a journey to find a deeper connection to the divine and a way to heal the unhealing wound of the Fisher King. The spear is a test of their faith, a reminder that their physical strength is nothing compared to the power of the divine. The knights who see the spear are not just heroes, they are saints, men who have found a higher purpose beyond the battles of the world. The knight's armor and the holy spear are two sides of the same journey. One represents the physical manifestation of his moral code, and the other represents his ultimate spiritual purpose. Together they form a powerful landscape of symbolism, a testament to the fact that the greatest adventure is not in fighting dragons, but in the journey to find our own inner holiness. In the Arthurian myth, the castle is more than just a fortress, it is a symbol of power, of a kingdom's heart, and of a king's legacy. But even the strongest of castles can be brought down. The siege of a castle is the ultimate test of a kingdom's resolve, and it is a powerful symbol of the internal and external conflicts that threaten to bring down a great dream. It is the final act of a kingdom, a last, desperate struggle against the forces of chaos and betrayal. The castle itself is a symbol of order, civilization, and safety. It is a place of refuge from the wild world, a sanctuary where a king can rule and his people can live in peace. Camelot, in particular, is the ultimate castle, a shining beacon of hope and a physical manifestation of a golden age. Its walls are a symbol of a king's strength and his ability to protect his people. Its grand halls and round table are a symbol of a just and noble society. The castle is the heart of a kingdom, and its survival is a testament to the strength and unity of its people. But the siege is the ultimate challenge to this order. It is a symbol of chaos, betrayal, and the inevitable downfall of a great dream. The siege of a castle is not just a military event, it is a symbolic battle for a kingdom's soul. It is a test of a king's resolve, and it is a reminder that even the strongest of fortresses can be brought down by the weaknesses within. The final siege of Camelot, in which the kingdom is brought down not by a foreign enemy but by a traitor from within, is the most powerful and tragic of these symbols. It is a testament to the idea that the greatest threats to a kingdom are often the ones that come from within. The castle and the siege are two sides of the same story. One represents the dream of a perfect world, and the other represents the painful reality of its inevitable destruction. Together they tell a story of a kingdom that was given a chance at a perfect life, only to have it taken away by its own failures. They are the echoes of a tragedy, a whisper that reminds us that even the most beautiful of dreams can be shattered by a single internal flaw. In the search for the Grail, the Knights of the Round Table are led not to a place of power, but to a place of mystery. The Grail Castle is one of the most powerful and enigmatic symbols in the Arthurian myth. It is a place that is both here and not, a place that is only revealed to those who are worthy of seeing it. It is a symbol of a spiritual state, a place where the physical world gives way to the divine. It is the ultimate destination, a final test that separates the true seekers from the rest. The Grail Castle is a place of profound contradictions. It is a place of great beauty and great sadness. It is a place that is both a sanctuary and a prison. It is a place that is only revealed to those who are worthy of seeing it, but it is also a place that is a constant source of suffering for the unnamed king who lives within it. The king is a powerful symbol of the suffering that comes with a spiritual state. His wound is a constant reminder that the greatest power comes at a great cost. He is a king who can only be saved by a true hero, a knight who can ask the right questions and who is worthy of seeing the Grail. The Grail Castle is the ultimate destination, the final test that separates the true seekers from the rest. It is a place that is not of this world, a place where a knight can find a deeper connection to the divine. The knights who find the castle are not just heroes, they are saints, men who have found a higher purpose beyond the battles of the world. The castle is a testament to the idea that the greatest reward is not in a crown or a kingdom, but in a spiritual state of grace. It is a reminder that the true journey is not a physical one, but a spiritual one, a journey to find a deeper connection to the divine. The Grail Castle and the unnamed king are two sides of the same story. One is a symbol of a spiritual state, and the other is a symbol of the suffering that comes with it. Together they tell a story of a journey that is not about winning a battle, but about finding a higher purpose. They are the echoes of a spiritual quest, a whisper that reminds us that the greatest victory is not in conquering a kingdom, but in conquering ourselves. In the Arthurian myth, the knight's journey is not just a battle against human enemies, it is a battle against the forces of a wilder, more ancient world. The serpent and the green knight are two powerful and enigmatic symbols that represent the untamed, primordial forces of nature, a challenge to the order of Camelot and a reminder that the world is a place of mystery and danger. The serpent is one of the oldest and most universal symbols of chaos, temptation, and the untamed forces of nature. In many legends, it is a creature of immense power and malevolence, a direct challenge to the order of a kingdom. In the Arthurian myth, the serpent is a symbol of the dark, corrupting forces that threaten to bring down a kingdom from within. It is a powerful reminder that even the most noble of ideals can be poisoned by temptation and deceit. The knight's battle with the serpent is not just a physical one. It is a battle for his own soul, a struggle to resist the temptation of power and the corruption of the world. The Green Knight is a far more complex symbol. He is a giant, mythical being with green skin and a green axe, a figure that is both powerful and terrifying. He is a symbol of nature itself, a wild, untamed force that cannot be defeated by human power. The Green Knight's challenge to the Knights of the Round Table is not a battle for a kingdom. It is a test of their honor, their courage, and their moral resolve. The knight who takes the challenge must face the Green Knight a year and a day later, a test of his faith and his ability to keep his word. The Green Knight is a reminder that the greatest challenges are often the ones that test our own integrity. The serpent and the Green Knight are two sides of the same journey. One is a symbol of the dark, corrupting forces of the world, and the other is a symbol of the untamed, powerful forces of nature. Together, they form a powerful landscape of symbolism, a testament to the fact that the greatest adventure is not in fighting dragons, but in the journey we take to confront the darkness within ourselves. In the Arthurian myth, the physical world is a reflection of the spiritual one. The castle and the lake are two of the most powerful and enduring symbols in the legend. One represents the order, the civilization, and the power of a kingdom, while the other is a symbol of the depths of the subconscious, the hidden power, and the ancient magic that lies beneath the surface of the world. They are two sides of the same story, a story of a kingdom that is both in the physical world and a magical one. The castle itself is a symbol of order, civilization, and power. It is a fortress that protects a kingdom from the outside world, a sanctuary where a king can rule and his people can live in peace. Camelot, in particular, is the ultimate castle, a shining beacon of hope and a physical manifestation of a golden age. Its walls are a symbol of a king's strength and his ability to protect his people. Its grand halls and round table are a symbol of a just and noble society. The castle is the heart of a kingdom, and its survival is a testament to the strength and unity of its people. The lake, on the other hand, is a symbol of the unconscious mind, the depths of the psyche, and the ancient magic that lies beneath the surface. It is a place that is both a sanctuary and a prison, a place where a knight can find peace and a place where a king can be trapped. The lake is a powerful reminder that the world is a place of mystery and wonder, a place that is beyond human control. It is the home of the Lady of the Lake, the powerful sorceress who gives Arthur his sword and who is a symbol of a wilder, more ancient world. The lake is a testament to the idea that the greatest power is not in a sword or a kingdom, but in the magic that lies beneath the surface of the world. The castle and the lake are two sides of the same journey. One represents the physical world, and the other represents the spiritual one. Together, they form a powerful landscape of symbolism, a testament to the fact that the greatest adventure is not in fighting dragons, but in the journey we take to discover who we truly are. Camelot's greatness was not destroyed by dragons or external armies, but by a more subtle and devastating force: betrayal. The forbidden love between Queen Guinevere and the knight Lancelot is not just a tragic romance. It is the most powerful symbol of the fragility of the Arthurian dream. It represents the dichotomy between duty and desire, and the inevitable fall that occurs when human passions betray the noblest ideals. The romance between Guinevere and Lancelot is the catalyst for the kingdom's downfall. Lancelot, Arthur's most loyal and brave knight, betrays his oath for love. Guinevere, the queen who represents the court's virtue and nobility, betrays her husband and her kingdom. Their love is an original sin at the heart of Camelot, a wound that cannot heal and corrupts everything it touches. It is a reminder that even the most sacred bonds, marriage, loyalty, friendship, can be broken by the uncontrollable force of passion. The betrayal is not just an act, it is a destructive force that filters through the kingdom, dividing the Knights of the Round Table and weakening the heart of Camelot. The lover's betrayal is the first major blow that makes the kingdom falter, but the final blow comes from an unexpected place. Mordred, Arthur's illegitimate son, is the ultimate symbol of betrayal. He is not just a villain, he is the physical manifestation of Arthur's own sins and mistakes. His betrayal is the result of a past that returns to destroy the present. The final battle between Arthur and Mordred is not a war between good and evil, but a fight between a king and his own shadow. The death of both at the Battle of Camlan is the most tragic conclusion to the legend, a reminder that sin and betrayal are the true forces that destroy the dream. The myth of betrayal and forbidden love teaches us that no kingdom is invulnerable to human weaknesses. Camelot did not fall from an external attack, but from the internal corruption of those who swore to protect it. The tragic story of Guinevere and Lancelot is an echo of the most painful truth. A kingdom's greatest enemies are not dragons, but the uncontrollable passions that live in the hearts of its heroes. From Arthur's birth to the tragic Battle of Camlan, the Arthurian legend is guided by an inescapable force: destiny. Prophecy is not just a vision of the future, but the invisible thread that connects every event and every character in the myth. In a world where men fight for power, prophecy is the force that guides them and often condemns them. It is a reminder that, no matter how hard we try, there is a greater plan in which we are all just actors. The main prophet of the myth is, of course, Merlin. His power is not just magical, but also a profound understanding of destiny. He sees the future not as something fixed, but as a series of possibilities that must be navigated. He is the force that brings Arthur into the world, that gives him the sword, and that guides him to become king. However, even he cannot change destiny. He knows the tragic end of Arthur and Camelot, but he cannot prevent it. His prophecy is both a blessing and a curse, the ability to see the truth without the power to change it. Destiny in the Arthurian myth is often a tragic force. Characters cannot escape their destinies, no matter how hard they try. The birth of Mordred, the forbidden love of Guinevere and Lancelot, and Arthur's final battle are all events that have been prophesied. Prophecy does not take away the character's freedom, but it highlights the consequences of their choices. It is a reminder that our lives are connected to a larger pattern, and that our actions have an impact that goes far beyond our own control. Prophecy is the thread that binds the beginning and the end of the legend, a reminder that Arthur's story was written long before he was born. The myth of prophecy and destiny teaches us that, no matter how much we fight against it, there is a greater force that guides our lives. Arthur's story is not just a tale of knights, but a reflection on humanity's role in the great tapestry of the universe. The legend endures because it speaks to our own search for purpose, and our relationship with the destiny that awaits us. It is an echo of the truth, a reminder that even in chaos, there is a greater plan in the universe. In the world of Arthurian myth, not all trials are battles against monsters or quests for holy relics. Some of the most difficult and symbolic tests are encounters with figures who defy the rules of the world. The Lady Without Grace and the Silent Knight are two such figures. They represent the most mysterious and often tragic aspects of chivalry, symbolizing the loss of innocence and the power of silence. The Lady Without Grace is a recurring character in knightly tales, often portrayed as a beautiful woman who lures knights to their doom. She is a symbol of vengeance, corruption, and the temptation that can lead a hero to ruin. Her very name, Without Grace, is a reminder that in the Arthurian world, grace is a divine gift that can be lost through evil. The lady represents the dark side of feminine power, a force that seeks not harmony like the Lady of the Lake, but destruction. She is a mirror that reflects the corruption living in the hearts of knights, and her encounter often ends in the hero's madness or death. The Silent Knight, in contrast, represents the power of silence and inner suffering. Unlike the loud and proud knights of the Round Table, he is a man of few words who communicates through his actions. Often, the Silent Knight has suffered a great tragedy, and his silence is a symbol of his pain. His lack of words is a reminder that true strength is not found in bravado, but in endurance, resilience, and the ability to bear pain. The Silent Knight is the perfect foil to the ideal of the Round Table, which values fame and glory. He is a reminder that true heroism often happens in silence, without witnesses and without recognition. The Lady Without Grace and the Silent Knight are two sides of the same coin. One represents the danger of seduction and the poison of betrayal, and the other represents the virtue of silence and endurance. Together, they teach us that the Arthurian myth is not only about the quest for glory but also about the struggle to maintain one's own purity in a world full of temptations. In the Arthurian myth, the forest is much more than a landscape. It is a kingdom, a place where men and fairies meet. The forest is the home of magic, the supernatural, and the unknown, and the fairy is the guardian of this realm. The encounter between the Knights of the Round Table and the fairies of the forest is a symbol of the struggle between the world of civilization and the world of nature. The forest is a symbol of untamed nature, of the primitive and the mysterious. It is a place where time stands still, where the rules of the human world do not apply. Knights often get lost in the forest not by mistake, but because it is the only way for them to find true magic. The forest is the place where knights must face their fears, their own loneliness, and the nature they have tried to dominate. The forest is a mirror that reflects the wildest side of humanity, a reminder that nature will always be more powerful than us. The fairy, on the other hand, is a symbol of magic, beauty, and nature. Fairies are creatures of nature who live in harmony with it. Their magic is not like Merlin's, which is controlled by reason, but is a magic that flows from nature itself. Fairies are the guardians of the forest, and they are often the voice of nature that has been silenced in the human world. The encounter with a fairy is a reminder that the world is full of magic if we only know where to look for it. The forest and the fairy are two sides of the same coin. The forest is a place of danger and mystery, but the fairy is a place of magic and beauty. Together, they remind us that the Arthurian myth is not just about the quest for glory but also about the struggle to maintain one's own purity in a world full of temptations. In the Arthurian myth, the knight not only fights against external enemies but also against his own imperfections. The quest for the Holy Grail is not a simple journey, but a deep exploration of the wound of the human soul. Two of the most powerful symbols of this quest are the wound and the dream of a king. One represents the pain that does not heal, and the other, the hope that never dies. Together, they speak to us of the struggle to find purpose in a world of chaos. The wound of the Fisher King is the most powerful symbol of suffering. It is a wound that cannot heal, and that causes the decay of the kingdom. The king is trapped in a cycle of pain, and the kingdom withers around him. The wound is a reminder that pain cannot be hidden, and that a kingdom cannot prosper if its leader is not well. The king is a representation of humanity, wounded and broken, that needs the help of a hero to heal. The king is a symbol of the struggle that we all carry within, the struggle to find peace. The dream of the knight, on the other hand, is a symbol of hope. Throughout his quest, the knights often encounter dreams that reveal clues, give them hope and show them the way forward. The dream is a reminder that even in the darkest world, there is a place where truth and beauty still exist. The dream is the place where knights can find the peace that they cannot find in the real world. It is a symbol of the struggle to find purpose in a world of chaos, and of the hope that one day the wound can heal. The wound and the dream are two sides of the same coin. One represents the pain that does not heal, and the other represents the hope that never dies. Together, they teach us that the Arthurian myth is not only about the quest for glory but also about the struggle to find peace in a world of pain. In the Arthurian myth, death is not the end of the story, but the beginning of a new chapter. The death of King Arthur is a symbol of the need for one era to end so that another can begin. It is a reminder that even heroes must die, and that the only way for their legacy to endure is through their death. The death of Arthur is not a defeat. It is a victory. He dies as a hero, fighting to the end to protect his kingdom from betrayal. His death is a symbol of the need for one era to end so that another can begin. He is the last king of an era of magic and knights, and his death is a reminder that his kingdom was not meant to last forever. His death is a symbol of the struggle to find peace in a world of chaos. The rebirth of Arthur is a symbol of the hope that never dies. In the legend, it is said that Arthur did not die, but was taken to the island of Avalon, where he awaits the day when his kingdom needs him again. It is a reminder that even in the darkest world, there is a place where truth and beauty still exist. His rebirth is the hope that one day the wound can heal, and that the kingdom of Camelot can be restored. The death and rebirth are two sides of the same coin. One represents the need for one era to end, and the other, the hope that never dies. Together, they teach us that the Arthurian myth is not only about the quest for glory but also about the struggle to find peace in a world of pain. We have reached the end of our journey. We have explored the legend of Arthur from his birth to his death, and we have discovered that it is much more than a simple fairy tale. It is a reflection on life, love, betrayal, and death. It is a reminder that even in the darkest world, there is a place where truth and beauty still exist. The legacy of the Arthurian legend is a reminder that the myth is not dead. It lives on in the books we read, in the movies we watch, and in the stories we tell. It is a reminder that truth and beauty do not die, but endure through time. It is a reminder that the dream of Camelot is still alive, and that, if we know where to look, we can find the truth in the heart of the legend. The story of Arthur is an echo of the truth. It is a reminder that the myth is not only about knights but about humanity. It is a reminder that life is a struggle but that it is worth fighting for. It is a reminder that true glory is not in conquering a kingdom, but in finding peace in the heart. The Arthurian legend is a reminder that the myth is not only about knights, but about humanity. It is a reminder that life is a struggle but that it is worth fighting for. It is a reminder that true glory is not in conquering a kingdom, but in finding peace in the heart.